Hey folks, this is Billy D, K-Y, the truth seeker that simplifies and demystifies. This is going to be my weekly address. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I didn't really know how to do it without really creating a lot more work for myself. And so basically it just hit me last night. It's like, why don't I just, the stuff that I'm tweeting on Twitter, why don't I just once a week or maybe sooner, you know, go through it. And so basically what we're going to do is just go through what I've done over the last week on Twitter. And we'll see how that goes. I don't know if this is going to be 1, 2, or 3 videos. Hopefully it'll be 1, but I don't know. I can be a little long-winded on some of these, so. But it shouldn't be more than 2. So let's just get started. I want to start with this one because I think this was the biggest revelation for me this week. To change people, you have to accept them. You see, that sounds the exact opposite of the way you think it'd be. No, if you're going to change people, you have to let them know that they're wrong and they need to change. Or nag them or this or that. However, that has the opposite effect, because if somebody's trying to change you, what are you going to do? You're resisting them. You're spending all your time resisting them, so you're not spending any time changing yourself. However, if I accept you as a human being and I don't try to change you, then you're not resisting, you're not spending your time fighting me. I'm not saying they're going to change a lot, but the maximum they'll possibly change is when you accept them. And if you accept people, they will change over long periods of time. You got to remember baby steps. So, to me, that's a huge revelation, because I have a hard time accepting people because I know they're screwing up and I want to change them. And for me, that was a huge revelation that I just need to accept people, and I'll have my maximal effect on them by accepting them. Okay, so let's start back at the top. Shyness is a lack of ego. Boldness is ego. When I was a kid, I was a shy kid, and I didn't realize that. I didn't realize shyness was actually a strength. It wasn't a weakness. And as I got older, I wanted to be more bold, and I started lifting weights and getting strong, and was being more bold. But actually, only since I've been on the spiritual path have I started being shyer again. It's like, wow, really, shyness really is a big strength. And I don't mean, when I say shyness, I don't mean scared. Scared's not a good thing. But being a little shy is not a bad thing. Here's what Lao Tzu said. The sage is shy and humble. To the world he seems confusing. And again, that's by Lao Tzu. And if you look at wild animals, if you go in the woods and you're around wild animals at all, they basically don't want to be around you. They're shy. Well, most of them are. And so there's a lot of strength in being shy, believe it or not. And so basically what I'm telling you this for is, don't be ashamed if you're shy. Don't think, well, I'm less because they're bold. No, it's the opposite. And you also see it in mixed martial arts. Some of the best fighters are some of the shyest people. Like if you look at George St. Pierre and BJ Penn, very shy. If you watch a Dana's video blog, you'll see them on there. They're very shy people, and humble, and it's telling you that's where your real strength's at. Next tweet. Not failing is success. Not failing as much is success. You lose the moment your priorities are compromised. And so what I found is that not failing is success. So I'm sitting here meditating. I'm like, I feel like I need to get up and do something. Then it hits me. As long as I'm not failing, I'm succeeding. So there's nothing wrong with sitting in a recliner with everything off, TV off, no noise, and just sitting there and just being. That's not failing, so I'm succeeding. So a lot of times I think in America we have the problem with, if we ain't doing something, you're not successful. It's not true. Sometimes doing stuff is a big failure. Next thing, not failing as much is success. I do a lot of food training, and what I found is, if you're not failing as much, that is success. So, just say it anyway. Okay, next point. You lose the moment your priorities are compromised. So I have a set of priorities. I want to conquer food. And the moment you start I've been putting my priorities on trying to get more stuff out there on, a book and this and that. And I lose focus of what my top priority is, which is to conquer food. So that's why I say the moment you lose your priorities, you've already lost. Okay, next one. The path doesn't unfold the way you think. It's more peaceful. And as each level that I've made progress, my ego says, oh, it's going to be this way. It's going to be that way. Yeah, I'm going to be this and that. And then I make the next level and it's like, oh, I don't even care no more. You know, it's more peaceful. And so that's why the next point I say, at each level, avoid the delusion of grandeur. It's just ego taking your peace. So if you're on a real spiritual path, don't let the ego convince you to go be big and famous. Just focus on being at peace. And you'll find that that's the right projection of where your spiritual path is really going to go. Next point. You find what you're looking for in the last place you want to look. The last place I ever wanted to look to find what I truly wanted was inside me to change me. To start dealing with my emotions, my impulses, my ego, my pleasure-seeking ways. But once I did that, I found what I was truly looking for. I no longer was expecting a woman to bring me what I needed. I was no longer expecting money, fame, these things to bring me what I needed. I was looking inside. So that's why I say the last place you want to look. I didn't say the last place you would look, the last place you want to look. Okay, this sort of happened last night. Should Hollywood be rebranded to Egoland? I was thinking about Hollywood last night, and it's just like, you know, if your goal is fame, misery will be your reward. It's like what I'm doing. I know I'm good at what I'm doing, and I'm putting it out, but sometimes my ego gets ahead of me, and I want to be famous instead of putting the stuff out that I need to put out. And the moment I put ego in front of what I really want to do, instead of just doing what I want to do, and I let ego get in front of me, that's when I fail. So fame is not what your goal. If you happen to be famous, that's fine. That's why I say, if fame is your goal, misery will be your reward. Now, you can be famous and still not have problems with it. So, anyway. Now, there's another quote that I like that I came up with last night. The higher you climb, the farther you fall. So, you know, if you're seeking fame because you're trying to escape reality, then that's a bad thing. And so what's going to happen, you climb real high, but when you come down, you're going to come down real hard, like Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, and a lot of other people. Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on Hollywood. Next point. Although I guess say one other thing about Hollywood. You know, Hollywood's a lot like a cult. Because if you look at a cult, what's a cult do? A cult's an aversion to a reality. You don't want to deal with reality. You want to go to this utopia kind of place. Well, what is Hollywood to a lot of people? Oh, if I was Hollywood, then I would be happy. In a way, it's like utopia for a lot of people. And again, it's sort of an acceptable cult. There's a lot of analogies between if you really start thinking about it. Okay, next twit. Science cuts out the nonsense and the spirit. Religion leaves in the spirit and the nonsense. So I have problems. I love science because it does cut out the nonsense, which I'm a no-nonsense kind of guy. However, at the same time, I'm a spiritual guy. And that's why I don't like science, because science is real good at cutting all the emotions and the spirit out. Which, you know, in some ways it's good, but science hasn't reached its pinnacle way of doing things yet. And then the second part, religion leaves in the spirit and the nonsense. I like that religion leaves in the spirit. However, I do not like that religion leaves in the nonsense. I don't want no nonsense. I want spirituality with no nonsense. That's what I'm putting out. Spirituality with no nonsense. I mean, how many times I may go, ego gets in and there's a little nonsense, but eventually I'll cut it out because I don't want it. What you really want is spirituality with no nonsense. I need to write that down because that really is good. Spirituality, no nonsense. I'll do that after this 10 minutes. Okay. Ask questions allows your mind to grow. If you're not, I meet people all the time, they're unwilling to ask the question. I don't want to know. I'm not going to ask the question because I know I'm not going to like the answer. If you're not going to ask questions, your mind cannot grow. Well, maybe it can, but minimally. You're stagnating if you're not asking questions. Asking a question allows yourself to grow. Ask the questions. Ask good questions too. Okay, next point. Oh, let's see. I'm running out of time. I'll wait until the next. I am going to do a second video on this because I'm having fun with it and it seems like it's flowing pretty good. So anyway, if you want to see the next one, go in the video response and you'll be able to go to the second video. Alright folks, See you in a little bit.